NBA?
Yeah, Bulls, Bucks. Chicago against Milwaukee.
Right, I understand where they're from. Thank you for that clarification.
Sorry, my bad.
No, I love your love of detail, Aaron.
I just wanted to make sure you knew the cities they were from.
Yeah, no, I do. Thank you. I think it's the NBA that put you to sleep. You watch that crap?
Yeah, it's playoff basketball.
It's all.
And I'm a big Chicago Bulls fan.
NBA is like Hollywood of sports. Like, it's not real. It's like pro wrestling.
What?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Because I've watched it, and it's like they're all so gigantic. Like, the ball in their hand is like they're holding a softball. It's not even competitive.
It's called being an athlete.
Is it? It's like they're past the point of being athletes.
No.
Yeah. That's my opinion, I guess.
Well, what's
like college basketball, those are athletes.
Yeah, they are.
They are. And I understand that, many of them or a few of them may go to the NBA. But I don't know, it's just different. It's different. Now, I don't feel that way about NFL football. I think that's athletic, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm a big Bulls fan, and they took Game 2 over the Bucks. So, and I also did notice this. I was telling Brandon this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So when my wife and I are in Chicago next Friday for my birthday, for my 30th birthday.
Yeah, you're going to be 30, except we're in the time machine, so you're already 30.
I will already be 30, so I'm also jealous of my younger self. That's my other part.
Yeah, you have less bags now than you will when this podcast comes out.
That's rough.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say, so when we're in Chicago on the 29th, there's potential that if the Bulls-Bucks goes beyond a Game 5, Game 6 right now is scheduled for April 29th at the United Center. So I don't know, like with scheduling, if they're going to push that back to Saturday the 30th, because like John Mayer's performing on the 28th and the 29th at the United Center. That's where we're going, the 29th. But also, I might be able to try to convince Megan to consider staying in Chicago one more night and try to get tickets to Game 6, Bulls-Bucks.
You have money that you need to be saving for that baby that we talk about.
This is true.
But also, I want you to experience that because, like you will hear in this episode, you need to be savoring this time with you and your wife.
That's the point. Because once that happens, fast forward button on my life.
So you need to go if that happens. What if John Mayer was like, he pulled an Eric Church and he was like, because the concert's the 28th that you're going to, or the 29th?
Yep.
What if he's like, you know what? No, not going to do the concert. What would break your heart more?
I'll be one of those upset fans, like when I talked about the last time I was on the podcast, because that's who I brought up. I'd be one of those fans really heartbroken, and I'd be going on Twitter.
Would you send me tweets? That's what I was going to say next.
Yeah.
He's not going to read them.
Yeah. Maybe I'll send a nasty TikTok.
Someone
just
sent
middle
me,
fingers.
Someone sent. I made this really stupid TikTok earlier in the week to test the algorithm, and I'll tell you, it worked. And, I'll try to post creative, funny things that I think are funny on TikTok sometimes, and I'm like, this will perform well. It never does. Well, this time I posted something short. I used the music that they suggested, and it got tons of views and comments, and I've never dealt with that before. And this lady wrote me a mean comment. She's like, wow, all the effort that you put into that really seems, oh God, no, it's stupid. But she's like, I don't know. She like questioned me and why I would post something like that. And then she put hashtag, like she was questioning me. And I'm like, my instant reaction was, listen, bitch. But I didn't say that.
Did you reply back at all?
No.
Did you reply back to any of the comments that you got?
No. Was I supposed to?
No.
I don't know how TikTok works. I'm too old.
I'm trying to. I mean, so I'm not really active on social media that much anymore. Other than
stop bragging about not being active. I'm done listening to you be like, I'm not that active.
I'm not.
You're bragging.
I'll like things, but I don't post too much unless
creep.
It's like, no.
Yeah, you are.
I'm not constantly liking.
Oh,
But that's like the only activity that I'll do. I might post an Instagram story here or there, but like I don't do much of anything else.
Whatever. You're not better than the rest of us
Whatever.
because you don't get on social media. I'm sorry. I need to have social media to stay sane. Okay.
This intro is just very. I'm feeling some type of way.
No.
Who are you jealous of?
Oh gosh. I said it. I'm. You know what I'm not jealous of is, and this is going to be old now, but Johnny Depp is taking his ex-wife to court for defamation. And, like, I'm not jealous of the attention that's getting at all. How do you think that's, I mean, by this point, it'll be over with. So I don't know. Neither of them look great, I have to say, if I'm judging just purely on looks. He's having to dive back into a lot of hard things that happened in his upbringing and his marriage. I don't know. I just don't know who to believe, what to believe on that one.
I haven't followed too closely, but when I do scroll through social media,
Oh,
I will
yeah?
see those like
Yeah.
scenes from like the courtroom clips that come through, and like you'll see Johnny Depp on the stand, and then I also see like what I think is video of the ex-wife of like an outburst that Johnny
Yeah.
Depp had. So I'm just like,
Or
without knowing
her.
too much, I'm just like, who's telling the truth or what's going
I
on
know.
here?
And it's interesting because, right, he's up there testifying. He's an actor. He's a paid act. I mean, he's been an actor his entire life. Is he acting or is he telling the truth?
Right.
And how can we tell? Because this is what he is trained to do.
Yeah.
But I got to say, I think I'm Team Johnny on this one. Oh, but I hate to say that, so I don't know. I have no idea. So I'm not jealous of that.
I probably would be Team Johnny as well, just based off the minimal things I've seen on social media. But but I mean for him to just have to kind of relive those bad memories of his upbringing. I mean that just stinks for anyone.
It does stink. Yeah. I don't know. So I hate to end on a bummer note, but this is a great episode. Talk a little bit about who you brought on.
So Chris Cuellar, he is another former colleague of mine from the Des Moines Register, but
You gotta quit bringing those Des Moines Register people on.
But he is currently the communications director for the Iowa High School Athletic Association, and he's been in that role for a few years now, and he's really transformed the way that association, which represents local high school boys sports in the state of Iowa, he's really transformed their game of how they get their message across in a variety of mediums, and by being transparent and honest and humanizing. So his goal is to really humanize the association, the individuals that make up the association, who also are the umpires, who are not technically IHSAA employees. So just a really cool episode here where he kind of just goes through that process of his role as the communications director, as well as a tennis administrator of a sport. So, and that was like a recent thing he brought on. It's not like he has enough other things to be worrying about.
Yeah. That's very interesting. What a big job, and probably a job that, it didn't exist.
It's a great episode with Chris.
Check
it out, and just stay tuned for all the awesomeness.
Thank you, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Peace out.
We have a gift courtesy, I guess it's not a gift, we paid for it, courtesy of Hy-Vee Fast and Fresh. That's where that thing came from.
It's awesome.
It is awesome.
Rodney was telling me on the way in, and it's a creative contraption, and I'm glad it got a second life in a cool place.
Oh, me too. I can't wait to, I do use the cold brew side, and I do use the root beer side. No, cool. I'm looking forward to using
which both are tapped out.
No,
is that right?
No, they're back.
They are?
The cold brew's back.
The root beer's
So
not.
how come no one ever told me?
I was here.
Because you were
I
actually,
drank it all?
You were too productive during that time, and so I was like, we are not going to let him know that that's turned back on.
No caffeine.
No caffeine. Like, he broke 3 keyboards in that time.
That's
Just
it.
burn him out.
Yeah.
You got it. Is it just me leaning into the mic, or?
It's first date etiquette.
Oh, thank you.
so,
Yep.
you just.
I'll keep a safe distance.
It could be here.
Yep.
It could be here.
You just caress it. Say nice words.
Yeah.
Pop some peas.
You look really good tonight.
Yeah.
Do you come here often?
You work out?
Oh, yeah. What was the pickup line you first used on Megan?
Oh, wow.
Oh, I know it wasn't even a pickup line.
No?
It was, we were at Up Down,
Okay.
and she came down the stairs, saw me. We were texting, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to have her make the first move. I'm not about to do this. And I'm playing this game called Burger Time. And so she goes to the bar, gets a shot for herself, as she claims, takes it, comes over to me, and she just kind of like does one of those to me when I'm playing. I just turn around and go, I'm really bad at this game. And those are my first words, and that's what drew her
Were you talking
in.
about the dating game, or are you talking about just kidding?
The dating game. Oh, that too, yeah.
Yeah.
That too.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
And
No,
now
it's not.
Megan has taken that and she runs with it, and she's just like the decision maker in the household. She's the shot taker in the household, isn't she?
She makes every decision.
I think it's self-aware of you to know I am not going to make the first move, but I
Yeah.
need to be in a position to make this happen.
Exactly.
That's
Like I made it happen just by my actions afterwards, and
What were those? Just kidding. This
Yep.
is a G-rated family podcast.
we're gonna try.
And we don't want to talk about it. Oh man. Well, I think every podcast should start off by Aaron talking about his premarital status.
It always starts that way, whether it's just bad stories like that or wearing my wife's deodorant, which I'm not doing. But when I had my first introductory podcast, I made that statement that I needed to wear my wife's deodorant because I was all out. So I ended up going to the Target. I'm retelling the story right now. Went and bought that deodorant, my own deodorant, and then put it in the parking lot. And now, yeah, then my
And here we are,
podcast.
and we can still let him come back on. And speaking of, premarital Aaron and wearing your wife's deodorant, but premarital more so, I think he might have met you during his premarital days, Chris. Is that correct?
That is correct. Like most of the Bing Bang staff, we cross paths heavily. And like most very intimate relationships, Aaron has read way too many of my words. So when he spent time as an editor at the Des Moines Register, I was a sports reporter at the Des Moines Register for 6 years. Our time overlapped heavily. So a lot of respect for him and a lot of the folks here. So it was really exciting to walk in and have a little tiny reunion. And everybody seems, a little more, they got some sleep. They were a little more relaxed, a little slack out of their shoulders.
Yeah.
And then they told me I was on the dark side. Rodney is like, what's it like being on the dark side away from journalism? And I was like, don't see what you're talking about, my guy.
Yeah, actually, everyone's cheeks seem rosy, and including yourself, everyone seems alive. Everyone seems more alive because they're, maybe in a newer place that they can be themselves. He's like, you're not talking to me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for coming on, and Aaron, thanks for having Chris join us. I guess that means you're a little bit jealous of him.
I am jealous of Chris. I mean, going back
I'm
to
shocked.
just register days of your just storytelling ability, and even furthermore with the current role you're doing now with the Iowa High School Athletic Association, and even more when so kind of more the reason why I wanted to have you come on as well was I still have that DM from when we kind of had similar situations happen to our mothers.
Yeah.
So my mom passed away in January of 18. I believe your mother was just a few months
Yep,
afterwards.
spring of 18.
Yeah, but just different scenarios, but similar stories of just kind of experiences that we shared. And he had a very heartfelt post, as did I. And every word that he wrote, and hopefully it was reciprocated, we just felt that same kind of emotion. And so I think ever since then, I kind of just, from way afar, kind of grew closer to Chris and just became just a fan of his and just watched him kick butt during the COVID pandemic as you led those efforts through the IHSAA and everything else you've been doing as a father, because I'm about to embark on that journey as well.
Oh my gosh.
So everything this man is, I hope to aspire to be.
Wow.
Because
Could be
Wow.
brothers too. You kind of look alike.
he's something
huh?
else.
I can't grow a beard that good. But,
well,
wow, Aaron,
nobody
thank you.
can.
Thank you so much. Listening to compliments like that, it's a little uncomfortable, but I really appreciate it because it does come from the heart, and I have so much respect for you, and it's been fantastic to see you go on and do. I won't just, we already insulted journalism, but we'll say bigger and better things. And, you're cutting your own path and you're using your skills and your talents and your focus to go in a great direction. And it's awesome to see.
Appreciate
So,
it, man.
yeah.
So let's just jump right into it, though. So we both took that jump to the dark side.
Yes.
Talk about your journey with what you were doing at the Register, and then kind of what you're doing now currently with the Iowa High School Athletic Association.
Sure. So it ends up kind of looking like a big jump, even though it's within the sports world, and I'm my wife's favorite party trick for that. So I was a sports reporter for 6 years. I covered high school sports predominantly early on, and then I started covering college sports, University of Iowa stuff, recruiting. I kind of saw the guillotine coming, as we all did. I had 4 bosses in 5 years.
Oh, wow.
I saw 4 rounds of layoffs, and I was no longer as young and cheap as I once was.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, I might be next. And so I started looking for, what some of those life raft options might be. And I didn't have many connections, but I had kept really good relationships with a lot of sources and people that I had worked with. And fortunately, I had, at that time, an associate director at the Athletic Association, Brett Nanning, come up and approach me at State Soccer. And I was like, hey, I'm waiting for a point in this conversation to come up that I am begging you for a job.
Yeah.
And he was like, how'd you like to come aboard?
Oh.
And a few months later, that happened. So I made it through to fall of 2017, and I've been at the Athletic Association since. So I joined there, and I don't think they knew what a communications director really was, and I didn't either.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a learning process together. But a lot of people think we're the NCAA. It ends up looking a lot more like a small business or a small office. We have a small staff, and so that means the communications director is the jack of all trades.
You gotta wear a lot of hats.
Like a lot of you are.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of fun. I've gotten increasingly involved with strategy, hiring, almost everything we do with our sports. I'm hands-on. I'm our only website administrator. I'm our only social media administrator. We work on a lot, but it's been a blast. I love shaping what we've had into, what we can be, and trying to, be the change that we have in our organization. So it's been fun, and I definitely feel a little more empowered than I did when I was in journalism.
How much of a learning curve, though, was it when you started to wear those many hats? Because you used to just be, interviewing sources and writing those stories and kind of thinking in that lens. But now, you're talking more about that social media, talking more about, the face and the voice of the IHSAA.
I don't know if both of you feel this way here now, but I just felt like I was unleashed. Like I felt like my potential had, like the tab had been pulled off the top, and I could go do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So it was a steep learning curve, but I had the ability to do it. I just needed the vehicle to get there. So.
Right. Let's back up a little bit. So sports. Were you
Sorry.
a kid that? No. I'm going.
Just gonna start swinging golf clubs and baseball bats, and
I love it. Were you a kid that played every sport and was into sports?
I did play every sport. I realized at a very early age that while I was generally athletic, I was not elite athletic.
Hey, that's
And
okay.
So my family says that I could have been a bookie at the age of 5. So that's more my
Okay.
skill set and realm.
Oh
So
my
I'm a
gosh.
little more of a sports nerd, little analytics, little operations,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So.
I love it. Where did you grow up?
So Eastern Iowa, I went to North Scott. I grew up in a town that isn't a town called Parkview.
Okay.
So there's a blinking red light.
I'm actually from an area that sounds quite similar. So
Yeah, it's just north of Davenport a little bit.
Yeah.
My mom worked in Davenport, and then I made my way to Central Iowa, and they haven't been able to get rid of me since.
Central Iowa is the place to be. I'm soon leaving it, but I'll still be working here, but remotely. So
Wow, where are you going?
I'm going back home to that town with the blinking red light,
Okay.
just because I love it.
That's
I
great.
do love it.
That's great.
Yeah.
We have invitations to come to your house, right?
You do. I was talking to another one of our coworkers, and I was like, the retreats I'm going to have at my house, the retreats. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, we're having retreats you're all coming. I won't leave you alone or let you leave me alone. So
Thank you. I appreciate
Do you
it.
have space for tents or anything? Or?
definitely.
Awesome.
There's a river right below. It's beautiful.
Wow.
Beautiful. Yeah. So I don't know, Aaron, I feel like if I have to worry about anybody, it might be you. I feel like you might get a little spooked because there'll be sounds and howls.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be spooked.
Yeah, will you?
Well, my dad lives in Winterset, just outside Pamela State Park, and I've stayed overnight over there, and
Okay.
it's scary. It's scary.
This will freak you out a little bit. That's
Yeah.
okay. We'll do our own like Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts type situation. Okay, now actually the wheels are spinning a little bit. I need to not forget about this conversation.
Initiation, like just
Yeah.
teach me how to
Wilderness camp.
not be afraid.
Yeah, I can help. I think, yeah.
I'd give him a compass and drop him off in a nearby cornfield
see you
and
later.
hope for the best.
Sheesh.
If you make it back, you pass. If you don't, we'll come get you, and we'll still let you drink some beer.
All
by the
right, guys,
campfire.
whatever.
Oh my gosh, back on track.
So Chris, with the things you talked about with your job, what are some things that you're most proud of that you've implemented or that you've kind of spearheaded, even just keeping in mind of you kind of had to just figure it out because there wasn't a communications director position?
That's a great question. A couple things come to mind. One is our website. To put it bluntly, we were still stuck in 2005 and no one really had the interest in updating it. And there were still a few folks ready to retire. And I'm sure you've encountered businesses like this all the time.
Yes,
and
every day.
So I went out and like basically did the start to finish process, like had to find companies that could do it, map everything out, get quotes, hunt it down, write all the content, meet with them, supply all the materials. And then I presented to our board, and an outgoing person who had their feelings hurt said, no, we're not going to approve it.
Oh, come on.
And so then I had to come back to the table 6 months later, and then I made it happen. And that's our current website. And I'm a huge believer in websites. I think you both are as well.
Absolutely.
But so I'm a little bit of an evangelist on that. And so I feel like that's been really a turning point for our organization and the way we communicate, the way we get our message out, the way people understand what we do. And even our color scheme, it's just really a great improvement all around. I really appreciate the folks at WebSpec and Urbandale who did that stuff for us and are I'm not an IT person by trade, as you well know, but they've kind of made everything simple on that. So having that team has been great, changed things around. I just needed some help. Being a one-person shop, I restarted an internship program.
Yeah, I saw that you posted yesterday, right?
Yeah. And that, it's at the front of my mind, but we hadn't had interns in 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
And to my understanding, it had been like a former rich guy in town's grandson would come wash the windows and hang out and eat snacks.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. And I needed communications help, and we have a lot of things that need modernizing and digitizing. And so I went again from, this is what I need, here's my pitch, here's my plan, here's my budget. We fortunately fell into a great amount of money from a woman who used to do statistics for us at a number of our sports. She passed, and her family wanted to carry it on specifically for sports information. And it just so happened that the best people I've found to hire have been women. And so we've got,
always.
I know
Always.
yeah. We've got young women coming into the athletic association, the hashtag Boys in Boone, and we're turning things around in that way, and that's been fulfilling.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. I think a lot of people would say the communications director at an organization like that, he must have a team of 12 people under him. Isn't it? It's nice to sit here and say, like, I am truly doing all of this myself.
Yes.
And then also listing out all those things that you're doing yourself. That's got to make you feel proud, huh?
Yeah, and I feel like I'm heard at a table in which, like, sometimes in my office, they're like, you say you're overworked, but I don't see it. And I'm kind of like, because you must think this is very simple.
Or
but
fun.
Yes.
What you do is fun. You have the fun job.
Well, you haven't even brought up the other new, I guess, responsibility that you have with your career, being the tennis administrator.
I am the tennis administrator,
Yeah.
yes, actually. So before I came this morning, I was putting together tennis assignments. We're going to release postseason stuff next week. So yeah, you kind of have to do a little bit of everything. But I've gotten better at that, and I've definitely gotten better with age at delegating and trying to find good people who can actually assist me in some of this stuff. So.
Very good. If you need like a tennis pro for anything, Rodney MF White, he is our tennis guy.
I will hunt him down later.
Yeah.
He is pretty good.
He's very good.
He and his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Couples. I mean, I didn't play any tennis, as you could probably tell from my verbiage so far, but yeah. The outfits are so cute. Love them.
Even for the boys?
Sure. Yeah. Big tennis guy.
Sheesh, I'm not. Wimbledon, I might watch a couple matches, but nothing that's, I don't just follow it too closely.
Yeah. I guess the bar games, those games that are on the bar top in some small town bars.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. I need to go to more small town bars.
We have a dive bar tour, I think, next month if you want to come with us.
That sounds my speed.
Yeah. Be a good time.
So going to the website, I'm just curious, what are some of those pages or those hot topics that are driving in a lot of views? And I mean, you're also very active on Twitter. Mm-hmm. What are some of those like conversations right now that you can start with anybody and you're just going to fire off a ton of replies, or a ton of replies will be coming into your into your Twitter handle?
You mean on the back of the Athletic Association?
Both.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh. Well, everything we do is a fire starter, so
I want to talk about that.
that makes it very easy sometimes. And in terms of getting engagement and getting people to do things, one of the, I guess, easy things we'll say in air quotes for our purposes is that there is a built-in audience for a lot of the information that we're releasing. So once we started to understand as an organization that the information we had was valuable and not to just trickle it away in an ugly PDF in an email, that we could present it in a better way. Postseason assignments, everyone wants to know who they're going to play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to know who they're going to play at the state wrestling or wrestle at the state wrestling tournament. Everyone needs that information. So we started to capitalize on some of those as posts. And even with our old website, I started to think about what people needed in terms of a hub when they came to our website, considering playoffs and postseason is the primary reason they're coming to us. So we built out State Tournament Central pages, and every sport has a different terminology for that, right? It might be state championship or state golf meet or whatever. But we built it out for every single sport, and now you can go to that hub. So if you are interested in going to the state tournament, we have a page, and you can buy your tickets, and you can see the results, and you know where the venue is, and you know that you probably didn't need to bring a mask for the last year and a half, but those kinds of things, and that's been awesome. And in terms of engagement, in terms of where we're going with that, I mean, we're talking 4 or 5 minutes per visit that people are spending on our website.
Oh my gosh,
so
that's unheard of.
Yeah, so that's been cool to build and see. Now we just need to get people to see that that's worth the effort and time.
I mean, yeah, getting them there, you're right, is like the step that everyone's trying to accomplish. But once they're there, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wow. Now I want to go back to the fire starters. I want to go back to the things.
Aaron, you're a former high school athlete. I mean,
I am.
True.
I'm sure you have some takes.
Former baseball player, which I want to ask, there is a shortage of umpires.
Yeah.
What is the messaging, and I guess really the Iowa High School Athletic Association's involvement with that process? Because there seems to be a lot of misconceptions out there potentially, and I'm just curious, maybe just more from hearing from your lens of kind of how this situation is being treated in the state.
Yeah, we are indeed shorthanded. We've had 300 to 400 officials that just never came back from 2019, 2020.
Yes. What is that from?
We can't pinpoint a specific reason other than the fact that it's an increase in the turnover that we usually have, which is pretty tremendous on its own. So usually around 2/3 of officials have left the field within 3 years after starting it. So,
oh my gosh. What a coincidence that it's aligning with all of everything that's going on in the world.
Yes. So I appreciate your question, because I think a lot of people assume they're employees of ours. We're assigning every single game that takes place, even the 7th grade boys on a Monday afternoon on a dirt patch. Yeah. So their officials are all independent contractors, whether they're officiating every state championship game in every sport, or whether they're just doing freshman games at your local school on a Monday night. They just have to be registered. That's the flat fee that comes through us, and then we're basically a registrar or a clearinghouse. But we've taken it on in that part of being part of our responsibility. We've taken that on in terms of we need to promote, we need to build up these numbers for our schools, and we're trying to work on that. And I've had an intern starting to crack away on some marketing plan for the next school year. But part of the issue is, there's not a lot of local buy-in. There's not a lot of local interest. There's not a lot of school buy-in all the way, even though it is affecting them, distinctly. So we need to do a better job promoting that. It's a little tough as a fire starter, but it's been interesting. We're just going to start seeing, even when varsity level things start getting canceled is when people start paying attention. Mm-hmm. When high level games, people complain about the umpiring at the World Series and they don't think it trickles down.
Right.
Or, and I'm not here to correct everybody's behavior, but it trickles down in the sense that when they start paying attention when varsity games are canceled, well, then what do you think is happening to the freshman game? And what do you think is happening to the JV game? And if those kids aren't playing those games, how are they going to keep coming up? So it's kind of a vicious cycle right now that we're hoping to every state's facing the same issue. No state has it totally figured out, but we're just trying to maybe create some incentives or highlights to get young people involved and interested in it. Even though you and I aren't probably running out there to go do it right now. So
I could do it if I were to umpire a baseball game. I'd love doing that, but I think, and a lot of people probably agree with me, are the unruly fans.
I was just gonna say, how could you deal with a mom like me? That's a bad call.
How are you as a sports mom?
Loser. My kids aren't old enough to play sports.
Well, I mean,
And I think I would be nice. I don't know.
I coached Little League with my brother for about 3 years. Shout out Ermidale Little League.
Shout out.
I think I was an asshole to like the umpires myself.
You were?
Yeah.
Like, oh, wait,
Just that competitive spirit comes out.
as
and
a
like,
coach?
Yeah, and I'll just like question calls like, oh, that's a balk? What? What are you looking at?
No,
just
not me.
stuff like that.
Not me. No, because like if I mouthed off and then he came back at me, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah. It's hard for me to back it up. Like I can run my mouth, but then I have to like back it up. And then I'm like, oh, fuck, you're right. I'm sorry.
Let me get some free consultation here. I think some of the issue might be too, as a former storyteller, I want to humanize officials. A lot of people think of them as, well, it's that guy making the bad calls on the other side of the fence. It's like, no, it's your neighbor that you might see at the quick store on the way home.
Right.
And like, we need your neighbor to join. We need you to join. But I don't know how successful or easy humanizing thousands of people can be, but I mean,
we can help you with that.
Yeah.
We definitely can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job out of you.
Thanks. Yeah. We'll take care. We'll call you.
My chair is trapped in here and there's no way out.
Yeah.
Oh.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's not by design at all.
And my checkbook is in my backpack.
What a coincidence.
But there are so many other like firehouse type topics. So like I'm thinking of just recently, with transgender student athletes.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's get very controversial. A shot clock in high school basketball.
Yes. I think more people were fired up about the shot clock than transgender student athletes. If you want to know where people's priorities are.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Why?
They think that competition directly affects them, and they think
shot clock.
Yes. And then probably it's easy to big bad the athletic association and that they've been holding out against us and but for a lot of folks, high school sports are still the front step up for their communities.
Yeah.
It's what people do on a Friday night. And so that high school basketball game, well, thank God they finally changed it. They finally did it. Now why aren't they doing it my way? That kind of thing.
Oh,
whereas transgender student athletes, as all the data shows, is, not actually affecting that many people. So
right, but people think that it is.
Uh-huh. And they get fired up, but that's your vocal minority.
They'll see, I am blanking on the name, but the swimmer, and
the Penn University
Yes.
swimmer. Yep.
Yes.
I got a lot of those emails.
Oh, right, because that's your fault.
Yes, exactly. What are we doing about that as the boys sports organization in the state of Iowa? So
Yeah.
it's goofy.
What a time to be alive and to be at the communications director.
So how do you, because I, in my previous life, would get similar emails, especially during COVID. So what you would say, I can relate, but how do you just kind of package everything where it's like, yeah, I hear you, but I'm not going to address you, or I'm not going to take any action from that? How do you do that through your process?
Good question. And I think, as you all know, that it probably depends on the mode of communication that it comes through.
Right.
If someone's calling my phone and they want to actually have a conversation, I'll give them a little bit of my time, as long as I feel like we can come to an amicable or positive conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
If they're sending me an email, depends on what they're looking for, how long it is, if they're demanding something, or if I feel like a dialogue is worth my time. If it's on social media, I shut off my communication or my notifications and close my eyes and just hope for the best. But seriously, you reply when someone has an actual question and try and engage them intelligently there, give them one or two responses. And I follow that same practice via email, but I try to look for positive outcomes. And hopefully someone is I'm willing to listen, and I'm approaching this conversation as, being, accepting to having my mind changed. Hopefully you feel the same way. But, Aaron, people aren't always open to that.
The person that typed it is not, 99% of the time,
That's correct.
willing to change their mind.
But we have to try, Mackenzie.
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes we have to, we do have to pick our battles. I mean, bringing it back here, we manage a ton of social media channels for a number of accounts, and it's like we really do have to pick and choose what we are going to respond to, how we are going to respond, if we are going to respond in the thread, or if we're going to respond this way. And we know that if we respond this way, that's going to be, a screenshot will be taken and it will be reshared. So it's always having to think 5 steps ahead of that troll.
Yes.
Just to call them what they are. You just have to be ahead of them and know if it's worth it or not. And if it's going to help the larger audience or not.
We've had to get better at identifying stakeholders and their actual interests and input in it as well. Because if it's just a person, if it's an anonymous person, I'm probably just swiping it off to the side.
Right.
But if it's an assistant coach or
Right.
a
An
parent
athletic director,
or
yeah.
Right.
a big difference between an athletic director, I would need to directly respond or call an athletic director. I mean, we've got
And I would hope they would give you the respect to not reach out taking the easy tweet.
You would hope. You
would
would hope.
hope.
And fortunately, some of them even say that when they email or call. Is like, I thought about tweeting at you, but I thought that wasn't going to get anywhere. And I was like, thank you for doing
Good.
that.
We are not an airline. And even if I am an airline, don't freaking tweet me.
If you're a stakeholder, this is my 2022 complaint, so I apologize for being aggrieved right now. 'Cause
We
it's not
love complaints, actually.
it's not my typical mode of operation, but it's been nonstop in my face and in my wife's face for the last few months. And it's
Yeah.
just folks that want to complain but have no stake in the and played no part in the decision-making process and are completely outside of it and don't actually want to do any work to see something happen. That's probably not worth my time.
No, it is not. And that, please, anyone listening, if you are about to send that email or send that goes for it goes for anything.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it goes for anything. I heard someone getting ripped in this office earlier, and on the other end of it, it was like, do you have a solution to the
Yes.
issue you're about
Yes.
to bring me?
Solutions-based-
If you don't,
Yes.
don't bring it to me, please.
Solutions-based thinking, and that applies to emails, social media, all that kind of use. And
Yes.
so fortunately, if it's a stakeholder, I try to take it offline immediately. I
Yeah.
mean, that's just, but
Smart.
yeah.
And professional. Wow, Chris,
Some-
you're good at your job.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sure I'll tweet something in the next 2 days and you'll be like, ugh.
Oh, trust me, I
Can't
tweet.
release this podcast now.
Yeah, ugh.
Yeah, no, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. The Twitter behavior around here is questionable
Okay.
at best. I'm talking about Aaron.
No, not me.
You're not that lively.
I haven't really been active on any social media platform in quite a while. I mean, I'll post like to my Instagram story, but there'll
Yeah.
be a couple things like big announcements I'll do, but everything else, like I'm not really active like I used to be.
Yeah.
Those thoughts have to go someplace. That's all I'll say.
So how about, let's learn more about you, Chris, as a person.
Oh boy.
Who are you, and kind of how would you, if you and I just met for the first time, what would your story be if you?
If we met for the first time,
Yep.
hey, what's up? I'll see ya.
So I don't have
no.
time for this. No new friends.
No, I am 32 years old. I am a dad. I am a graduate of both Iowa State and Iowa. And I've
you.
covered both universities in athletics. And I'm here to tell all you Hawkeye and Cyclone fans that it's basically the same school. I live in Bondurant.
Nice.
Yeah, it's delightful. My son is 18 months old, so that's a little bit of chaos and a little bit of fun.
What a fun phase,
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
life.
I commute a long ways to work, so that probably impacts some of my habits and some of the things I do. I live close to my in-laws' family, and as we talked about early in the podcast, my mom passed a few years ago, and I was an only child, and she was a single mom. So that was a big change in my life. I stay in touch with my dad and his family as well, but they're down in Texas and doing their own thing. So I like working out. I like positivity. I like reading. That all sounds incredibly simple, but I find that work and parenting take up a lot of my identity these days.
It does.
So is that fair? I wouldn't tell you that the first time I met you, but we know each other well enough.
That is fair.
I'll
No.
peel back the onion.
What's your drink of choice?
I'm a beer guy. I've become a beer guy. I was a
Yeah?
gin and tonic guy.
Hey, I
but
was a gin and tonic gal.
Yeah.
I was. Yeah.
What is it now? You said was.
Lots of water now. Lots of sparkling water now. But beer, yeah, I like beer.
Aaron,
I'm a Busch Light guy.
like it.
Yeah.
I respect it.
I'm just a simple man.
Have you
with
always been a
simple
Busch
drink.
Light guy?
Yeah. I mean,
Really?
ever since those college days. I mean, it started off
Really?
Keystone Light, then it was
Keystone.
Busch Light.
Did you go through any phase?
Nope, just it's part of my DNA.
Are you married to Busch Light enough that when you go to like a craft brewery, you're like Busch Light?
Yeah,
Really?
No.
still, oftentimes, yeah.
Really?
We went to, so I wouldn't say this is a craft brewery, but like we went to Smash Park
Uh-huh.
recently with a client.
Yeah.
And everyone else got craft beers, but I got the Busch Light.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I got judged, but it's okay.
No, I mean, the man likes what he likes.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you craft beer?
I'm a little bit of everything. I'll drink anything. I'm not a snob.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Good. I like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not a snob either.
Yeah.
I'm not a snob either.
But I like a good beer. I mean, like I'll try some kind of funky sour, poured in an 8-ounce glass. I'll give it a go.
So whenever
But-
Danny brings Boulevard beer, you're gonna try it out.
I do try it. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you tried the Boulevard seltzers?
No.
No.
Quirk or something?
Everybody's in the seltzer game.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it was. I would say that was the fad, like the last 2 summers, don't you? It's like take all the carbs out, take all the fun out.
Yeah.
And so what's the trend going to be this summer? I feel like we're back a little bit
Do you?
as a world.
I feel like we were back last summer.
I mean, yeah. I'm gonna be back, back. I'm gonna be back. July 12th. This baby's coming out July 11th, July 12th. We back, baby.
Megan's the
Just
same
kidding.
way. No,
Well-
Megan, this is our first child, and Megan's like, once Tatum comes out, it's go time.
Megan she knows what she likes.
Yeah.
One of the videos that you sent of Megan drinking that marshmallow sour, and it was disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, Megan's.
Okay, so I wouldn't.
not.
Okay, so I'm snobby enough. I wouldn't try a marshmallow sour.
No? Why?
It's a step too far. And I don't like sweet in my beer. So I'll try fruitiness if it adds a little funk, but no sugar.
Little
Anyway,
funk.
yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
that's enough beer talk. But
Summer's coming up, though. What are yours? I mean, you're gonna be busy this summer.
we are busy. So I have at least 2 interns for the summer. We have 4
Nice.
state tournaments in the span of 4 weeks in May and early June. I will try and relax and get some stuff done over 6 weeks there, and then we have state baseball in July. So we run 5-day state tournaments at 2 different sites now, Iowa City and Carroll.
Oh my god.
So yeah, it kind of eats up a little bit.
What's your? I want to say slowest, and I'm gonna use that
Yeah.
term lightly. Time of year. When is the time when you're like, I can breathe again, I can relax, I can focus on strategic planning, I can focus. Never.
It's generally never, but for the 2 weeks after we get done from a state tournament run,
Right.
like our fall, winter, spring, those first 2 weeks off is kind of like, all right, maybe I'll wear a t-shirt to the office
Oh
and
my gosh.
relax a little bit, and, yeah,
Aw.
but it's good.
Yeah. But it's fine.
It's fine. I'm fine. This isn't a therapy session at all.
So, I mean, you live a crazy life as a professional, as a father, and as a husband. And we have to talk about your wife as well, because
Yeah.
our CEO, Brandon, was also a 40 under 40
I was
nominee.
going to bring this up if you weren't, but yeah,
Oh, yeah.
big wife guy here, Aaron. So yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
So just share a little bit more about your wife, what she does, and I guess honestly just how proud you are. I can only assume.
Thank you for
I
the
can only
softball.
assume,
That's
man.
that's delightful.
Setting you up.
What a co-host.
I know. Truly.
Yeah, she is the more important, improved Cuellar in our family. So I do sports, and I'm the fun party guy when people want to talk about Hawkeyes or high school sports or complain about shot clocks. And my wife is an assistant county attorney, and a high-powered one at that, and she prosecutes domestic violence and sex abuse.
We love that.
Yes. Yeah.
We love that.
You love prosecutors? Yeah.
High-powered women in
Okay,
charge.
all right, yes.
Taking the bad guys down.
Yes. We both volunteer a lot, and we're involved in a bunch of different organizations, but she's super active and hungry for the organizations she works for. She serves on Bondurant's planning, and she's the chair of Bondurant's planning and zoning committee. She raises a ton of money for Girls on the Run. She does the stuff for the Iowa State Bar Association and was president of the Young Lawyers Division. Anyway, all that's to say she's way more busy and put together than I am. And so I get to just kind of hold on. I try to be as supportive and positive as I can. And then with the kiddo involved, I mean, we'll cart him out this weekend when she's going to run the half marathon at Drake, and we'll go cheer it on and change any dirty diapers along the way. So, yeah.
What a badass. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's a fun part of
And
that.
she
so.
was recognized this year?
Yeah, at 40 under 40 with
Yeah,
Brandon.
with Brandon, yep.
Yep.
Well, I was there, so I saw her walk across the stage.
Yeah, she doesn't look really like me, but she has the same last name.
That's always good. I mean, they say you start to look alike if you spend too much time together. So sounds like you're spending the right amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
She doesn't look like me. That's funny.
What are some things, though, from your wife's career that you kind of draw inspiration from?
Good question. She definitely teaches me to be more detail oriented. I don't even know if that's like via example or her telling me, you need to pay more attention to this. And it's not even, we're comfortable critiquing each other. We both came out of the journalism world. She's in the legal world. And as you know, in communications / marketing, you got to have a sharp eye on everything. So that kind of makes both of us better. I think I'm grateful that she's like as into, reading closely, editing, offering feedback, and making that positive as I am. So, I mean, that all kind of helps. And then anytime I feel like I'm really busy or tired, I'm kind of like, oh, you fed our child for a full year off your body, and you're going to work out at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I could probably handle this one. Yeah, don't worry about it. So.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good.
What's some advice you would give me
Yes.
coming into fatherhood?
I don't have much parenting advice because that you're going to have to find that out for yourself.
That's what everyone's saying.
This is so funny that you just said that, right? Because I was just thinking to myself yesterday, I don't know, it doesn't matter. How are there parenting books? How are there books based on parenting?
First of all, who has time to read them?
Exactly. And a book, nothing should be printed. Nothing should be printed in ink and widely distributed based on one person's opinion of parenting. And like, you can't.
Everyone's trying their best.
Everyone's trying their best. And you try to put something into motion and your kid is like, absolutely not. I am not doing that. And then the opposite thing where it's so funny to me. It's like, I read this parenting book. It's like, okay, so you read a useless book then. And maybe one thing out of it made sense.
What happens when your kid goes off page in chapter 3 and decides to stick a Matchbox car in the electrical outlet? How are you gonna solve that one?
Exactly.
Personal experience? That's pretty detailed.
I'm just saying.
Where's that age? Yeah, it's funny. I don't know. And I don't think anyone's prepared to write a book about parenting unless they're 100 years old, because you parent. I'm going to parent forever, I hope, like you never stop being a parent. So yeah, I was just like getting myself worked up. So I'm really glad that you said that, because there's no advice other than to take it day by day.
I can recommend a few products that have been
Sure.
useful. I mean, but the thing I would say, and I've given this out before, so sorry to everyone who hears me repeat myself, but it's not parenting advice, it's pre-parenting advice. And I'm not speaking for all parents, because I'm sure everybody's experience is different with 1, 2, 3, 4 kids, whatever, right? Take advantage of the time you have with just you and your wife right now, because the second your kid arrives, fast forward gets pressed on your life, and it does not stop. And like, not that I have any regrets about that time period, but I look back on it fondly, because I don't feel like I am for the first time in my life, I'm like, I want this to slow down a little bit, and it goes so fast.
That is so true. And also sleep. That's gone. Goodbye. Say goodbye to it.
Sheesh.
And your good looks, they're going to fade.
It's true.
So.
They already are gone.
Not speaking for you, Chris.
Thank you. It's okay. The hairline's going back a little bit, so it's okay.
No.
Yep.
Great head of hair.
Thanks.
Great head of hair I'm looking at right here.
Yeah. My good looks are gone.
No,
You're
they're
fine.
not.
Shot.
You're
I
fine.
got the beard, man. That's all I got.
No, your hair's quality.
I did get another haircut. So
I know.
This is
I
the second podcast
I
where I
was
come on
checking
and I
the
got a haircut.
sides, and they're very even.
Yeah.
So your stylist.
You look put together.
And I get
You're all right.
I get my eyebrows done. Like I go all out.
Intelligent.
Guys.
Good. Everybody loves a hygienic man. It's all right.
Everybody.
All right. So enough about me. Let's bring this back to the purpose of this podcast. Who, Chris, are you jealous of?
Cop out. I'm not like a jealous person. I don't.
They all say that.
I know, but like I really, everybody, even if they're more high powered or richer or whatever, like they all have things that I would not want.
Yeah.
So I'm not a super jealous guy. The stuff that always comes into my mind is like, if I'd want like a trait, like think like Freaky Friday or something, Like I'd love to know what it's like when Usain Bolt runs like a 9.6 100. What would it be like to be that fast?
Well, it's not all typed up to be, and I.
Or Giannis dunking a basketball. How
Yep.
easy that looks for him, something like that. I don't know. So those are both sports analogies,
good.
which is pigeonholing me here. But
Those are really good. What would either of those things
it'd be amazing. I'm jealous of that.
feel like?
I mean, I'd like to throw 90 plus. I would.
So
do
you're jealous
unimaginable
of
things to be able
like,
to throw 90 miles an hour.
what if you could be Shohei Ohtani?
Oh.
Are you jealous of being Sho?
Yes.
Okay.
So
So like
jealous.
that's like something, right? And they're not all athletics related, I guess. I mean, even though Jay Wright, I'm jealous of Jay Wright. So the Villanova head coach just retired as we're taping.
Yeah.
Like 24 hours ago or something. But he like owned that. He's like the coolest guy in the room. You get to compare it directly to Coach K, who had this like great walk away rocking chair tour. And he's just like, peace, I'm good. I want all these titles. I'm cool. I'm amazing looking
How
for
old is
60.
he?
He's 60. He doesn't look 60.
No. No, he doesn't look 60.
So I guess I'm jealous of him for that too. But like he's that handsome, rich, championship winning 60-year-old who's going out quietly on his own terms. And he doesn't even have to answer his phone if he doesn't want to. He posted a tweet and was like, peace sign, I'll see you all later.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of that.
That's a power move.
Right?
Above a lot of
It
power
is baller
moves.
status.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anybody you're jealous of?
Jealous of you, man. Remember?
Remember?
So kind. There's better people, but I appreciate that. Thank you. Mackenzie, are you
man.
jealous of anybody?
Oh, I'm jealous every single day.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. I'm jealous of at least one aspect of every person in this room, this building. I mean, I am. I'm a jealous person.
So you
but
spin
in
it
a positive
positively.
way. I do.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
They motivate me, and hopefully that is what this podcast is all about. We take the jealousy that we feel in other people, and we let that motivate us instead of bring us down.
Cool.
So, yeah. We're trying to make jealousy like a cool thing.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Well, it is cool. Look around
I know.
us.
Look how fucking cool it is. We'll bleep this because you have an audience.
That's all right.
We don't want to offend. Sam, did you hear that? Bleep it. Amazing.
My kid's 18 months. He won't understand this at
Oh,
all. He's just,
Wait, do you feel comfortable sharing his name? If not, we can take that off.
yeah. His name's Wes.
Wes
Kendrick Cuellar.
Wow.
It's kind of a cool name.
That is a cool
kind of a cool
name.
name.
Is there a history for the name?
No,
Any
no,
backstory?
but other than Wes is not. It's not short for anything. It's just Wes. As a Christopher, I'm Chris. I've always been Chris.
Yeah.
My mom used to call me Christopher, and so, but I don't need to write it all out. It took up a lot of Scantron bubbles.
Yeah,
So let's keep it simple on the kid.
I love that.
Was it Christopher whenever you just got in trouble, or was it Christopher in general?
I just general identify. Yeah.
I love that. I love a one-syllable name. I'm on the hunt for a one-syllable, probably boy's name. So, I mean, hey, Wes has just entered the chat.
Boom.
So, I don't know.
Well, I won't give you any of the other bag of tricks that I've got waiting. So
Okay. Yeah, I know. There's not that many really cool, solid one-syllable names out there.
I think we had an easier time with girls' names than boys' names.
Did you have a list a mile long for girls, or did you know what you were having when you didn't?
I'm a minimalist. Pin it down to 2 or 3, and then we'll see when it comes out. And then I think we were naive to like, we'll see the baby and we'll be like, that's a Christopher or whatever, right? And that's hilarious. I mean, they look like aliens.
Oh, yeah. they do.
That alien is a Christopher,
Yeah.
as someone said at some point in time. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
See, my wife and I, we are planners. Like, we've got the name, everything planned out.
I like it.
And we're ready to go. Like, we're
Which,
in
Aaron,
the.
I like it.
I love it. I love your optimism.
You're going to break
And
me
she's
down
gonna
now?
be she's gonna be beautiful and healthy, and everything's gonna be great in that aspect. But everything else, my man. Sorry.
I'm just worried. What if it comes out a boy? And we've
No.
gone through the whole process. They're like, yep, that's a girl.
First
and
of
then
all,
months down the road.
Skull theory, round features. That baby is a girl.
Yeah.
And also, the other parts. Those were girl parts.
it'll generally be fine, right? I mean,
I'll love my child no matter what, but we've just built up this hope, this anticipation, this expectation that
Sure.
it's Tatum. Now it's like, oh nope, it's now going to be Tate.
I
but
love
and,
Tate.
and not to be the hokey guy, but like it's your baby, so it'll be okay regardless.
This is true, Chris.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and boys rule. They do.
That is true as well.
But girls rule too.
But I've always wanted to have a daughter as my first child. Just given my story and everything like that, like I've always wanted to have
Sure.
my first child be a girl. And fate, and we'll see if it's going to be Tatum or Tate.
It's gonna be Tatum. We
Yeah.
We digress. All right. Well, Chris, thanks for coming on and sharing a little bit more about who you are and what you do. And yeah, I hope you're gonna have a busy summer, but
It'll be good.
hang in there.
I would invite the entire Bing Bang crew out to come cover a state tournament. Use your awesome camera equipment and all your talented people. Sam is shaking his head yes right now, and
Sam
he
is like,
wants to come back
"Please."
out and cover 100-degree baseball
Please. Yeah, he
on
wants the
AstroTurf.
hottest day. Let's give Sam the hottest day.
Yes.
and it'll be fine.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate the invite. Like I said, I couldn't say no. I know too many people here. I have too much respect for too many people here, so I'm thrilled to be on. And
Can you imagine the mean tweets you would have gotten from us if you would have said no?
I could take it.
Nonstop,
I
though.
I can take it. And I am Bernie Sanders of the mute button. Liberal. Okay. I will click the mute. No questions asked.
That's beautiful what you just said. I'm gonna steal that.
Please have it. Please have it. Okay, take the tagline for yourself on future pods for people who didn't listen this long. You can just be like, it's me, Mackenzie, Bernie Sanders of the mute.
Liberal. That was freaking great.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Well, Aaron, thanks for bringing Chris on.
You bet.
And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
See ya.
Bye.